Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters podcast. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Creed Hyatt on the line. He's president over at the Educated Wanderer. Creed, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me. It's great to be with you.
All right, so we have a great topic today. So the value of slow travel in a busy world. So great topic, and maybe just to get us kicked off, tell us a little bit more about your company, the Educated Wanderer.
Sure. So we do. So it's just my partner Jen and I, and we devise, organize, and escort all of the trips that we do. For several years, we exclusively did international travel, and in the last year or so, we took up another company, and now we're doing tours across the United States too. Although lately, for obvious reasons, they've been local, tours around the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, to New England area. But we try to travel slowly to get sort of the real feel, the experience, like, particularly internationally, but certainly different parts of the country have different, kinds of culture, and to sort of assimilate that just takes time.
Yeah, and you took the words out of my mouth. So today's topic, the value of slow travel in a busy world. Maybe so. What does slow travel mean?
So basically, I think when I started doing this, when I started writing tours, it was actually I'd actually been a professor at a community college here in Pennsylvania, and was running the study abroad program. And I was looking at the sort of options that were available for it for the students, and they were 10 or so destinations within a week or 2 week period, and it was very much sort of a rushing around. And in my background, teaching history and teaching philosophy, I always understand that to experience new things, to assimilate them, to get the flavor of them, it just takes time. You can't rush through 10 cities in a couple of weeks and expect to remember them. So our philosophy that has emerged out of that is to really sink our teeth into the culture, to try and understand it as much as we can in a short period of time, to become sort of an inhabitant of the areas to which we travel. And this requires us perhaps to take in fewer places, but to experience them more deeply and more fully. It's hard, it's impossible really to rush that kind of learning experience, that cultural experience, when it really requires you to step outside of who you are and your own experiences, to sort of see things the way other people see them, and to experience things out of the ordinary. And that then really sticks with you, and it becomes a valuable sort of educational experience, as well as being a lot of fun, of course.
So how is travel for you? How is travel really like? It's kind of like a lab, right? I mean, you said you come from academia. Like, how is this lab experience for history for your travels also?
I came to that after traveling for some period of time. This kind of concept that, in the sciences, you go into the lab and you do the actual sort of practical experimentation of the things that you're learning about in textbooks and whatnot. And how do you do that with history? You can't just sort of leave the classroom and go into a history lab and experience things as they were in, sort of ancient Rome, or, the way the Native Americans were here in the United States. you actually have to go to those places and as much as possible sort of walk in those, the footsteps of those the ancient people, or, understanding in philosophy, the different ways that people think about things, the ways that people who live, in India or China, even in Europe, experience the world is largely a result of the weight of their culture and how they see the world around them, which is different than us. And so we can talk about that, of course. It can be something that you can read about, but the actual experiential learning that comes with being there and interacting with those people and eating their food and seeing their, sort of historical artifacts in museums, walking those ancient steps, is really the way in which people can delve deeply into something and understand it, that in a sort of extra dimension that's just not possible by reading a book or, listening to a lecture.
And so I know you mentioned that you're staying a little bit more local now due to the pandemic, which is for obvious reasons. We're recording this in 2021, May of 2021. Yeah. So how do you keep a travel company alive during this pandemic? I mean, obviously there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's true. And it's so kind of first and foremost, we're not doing any international travel, and that's, we're not allowed to, and, people are nervous about that and so forth. So, fortunately, I don't know, with impeccable timing, we acquired this other company last year in April, just as everything shut down. And so we had to kind of quickly scramble from where we thought we were going to be to what we could actually do and what people were willing to do. So, normally we would take tour buses full of people to places, or we'd, bring a group of people and hop on a plane and, go to California or, New Orleans or, just around the country. And obviously that hasn't been possible in the last year. So what we've had to do is just scramble a little bit. And fortunately, we're quite nimble in our ability to adjust to that. And I think that's probably the advantage of just being, sort of a mom and pop outfit. But, we ditched the tour buses and we devised a way to utilize sort of 12 or 15 passenger vans, and I've taken up all the driving and Jen's done all the navigating, and we've taken, just small groups of people, 3, 4, 8 people to various places, sort of locally for us, which is, around New Jersey, into New England or into Pennsylvania. And we've done this because we see the value not in, really making very little money on doing this, but we see the value in building the relationships with people and for those who are willing to go out, because everybody, everyone has a different risk tolerance. Some people have stayed in their homes the entire time, and other people have been willing to get out. So always being mindful of, their health and our own health, of course. We've managed to, build these great relationships with people who are grateful just to get out and have, sort of everything arranged and people looking out for them. And it's, it's sort of a willingness to accept a lot less, but see the value in the relationships that we're building. And now we have a great group of people that, are really, loyal to us because we've been able to get them out when, virtually no one else was doing anything at all. And it's been so much fun. I mean, in some senses, Jen and I sit around wishing, it would be great if we could just do tours with 8 people, sort of for an ongoing basis. But, we have to pay rent and buy food and so forth. So,
of course.
We are getting back to it. I mean, we do see, now that it is starting to come back, and that's really positive.
Can you give an example of one of the of something you've done, like just a trip or something that you've done recently?
Yeah, absolutely. We were just out last Thursday and Friday. We did a trip out to Hershey, Pennsylvania, the chocolate capital of the world,
wow.
at least of the United States. And we had 5 people signed up, and unfortunately, one of the people at the last minute wasn't able to go. But we still took 4 people out there, and we found that all the venues that we stay, the hotels, the restaurants. Everyone has been very flexible with this, and it's been a real great, sort of community to be part of because everyone is going through the same thing and very understanding, and everybody's happy to kind of get any business. But we did a 2-day tour out there, and we took them. We stayed at the Hotel Hershey, which is a very elegant, very beautiful hotel designed by Milton Hershey in the 1930s. And he created this great atrium that's all sort of Iberian or Spanish themed. And we had a great time. We visited Chocolate World. We visited with the Amish, who are very prevalent in Pennsylvania. We had lunch at an Amish, family's home. And so we had kind of a day of chocolate and then a day of the austerity of the Amish. But, where Hershey is located, Lancaster County, is really the largest population of Amish in the country. So we got, that kind of dual experience of, this huge corporation, really an icon of Americana, and, learned a bit of our history. And then we got to delve into this, this sort of very different culture, very austere kind of culture. And so it turned out to be a great trip. And, we're willing to do, whatever it takes for us to have these really great experiences.
Oh man, that sounds wonderful. And you're right. As you're describing it, I'm like, wow, this is something that you wouldn't have thought that this could have just been a normal tour. It's awesome. It sounds amazing. It sounds fun. You wouldn't have necessarily known the world's backdrop and what was going on.
Right.
Obviously, there's some differences and some nuances, but either way, it's there's still memories that people will have that maybe they wouldn't have had otherwise, and there's still meaningful experiences. And based on your style of educating and adding that other layer of experience to it, in my opinion, I mean, it's just awesome. It sounds fun. I'm like, oh, I want to go. What else happened?
Well, that would be great. We would love for you to go.
That's awesome. So that being said, Creed, I have to tell you, first off, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today, and I love that you've been able to manage to to create these relationships and look even deeper into what it means to provide what you do on a day-to-day basis, even during normal times, and to be able to pivot and still do things with, when there's some hurdles ahead in front of you, so to speak. So that being said, if somebody is listening to this right now and they want to learn more about your upcoming trips, or obviously once things are back to normal and international travels available again, I'm sure you'll be doing that again. I mean, what's the best way for people to follow up and to learn more?
So they can check out our website. I think first and foremost, that's probably the best place to go, and that is educatedwanderer.com. educatedwanderer.com. And there you'll be able to learn about Jen and I, a couple other people that we work with, occasionally all of our upcoming trips, our whole philosophy about travel. It's all there on the website. And of course, if anyone wants to reach out to us directly, they can just reach out to us at either traveler@educatedwanderer.com or directly to me at creed@educatedwanderer.com. So either one of those get us directly to Jen and I. And we'd love to talk travel. And while Jen and I really both love to travel, we really love to travel with people who are travelers, because they are, most fun people, and we have such a great time with them. And we don't ever think of people as our clients or customers. They're just our fellow travelers. And that's our approach to how we develop relationships with all the people who go with us.
Fantastic. Well, Creed, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great things that you're doing and the value of slow travel, really. I mean, I'm sold. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to come back and be a return listener, return visitor. And Creed, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Adam. I appreciate it. It's been great talking with you.